Wow, well, I'm having a train wreck of responses, but I won't expose you to all of them right now. Yeah, that was kind of weird, but boy, I would like to take this moment to acknowledge all three of my brothers. Unfortunately, Morgan couldn't be here, but he's been amazingly supportive and loving too, at how far they've come.
And me too, please. I mean, one of the reasons why I wanted to say is to kind of show that their progression, their journey too. You know, as Lourdes says, y'all, I'm not transitioning, you all are.
Right. That was such an. I think in some that's going to sound really weird, but you know, I think it's true that for the people around someone who's transitioning, it's a big thing, because at least you've always known that's a big first step. So we had to get over the surprise and then the adjustment and then the wow, I guess we're really here.
Yeah, and again, back to your brothers, they truly have really been amazing. So the way that I feel their love the strongest is sometimes in their stumbles, because I can see how hard they're trying. I can see how important it is to them that they see how important it is to me. So that's, I can't, you know. And they're really teaching me how to be a woman with men. That's, you know, I don't, as much as I don't want to expose, maybe this is boy training, but any of my weaknesses, no, I got this, it's all good. I don't know how to be.
Well, that's another thing we've talked about. This is going to be maybe a sidebar to that, but is you and career-wise now, because I think we both kind of had the rude awakening that we were thinking, well, why should there be any problem with you continuing to work in the same areas that you had, because you were always a woman. You did it as a woman. You had the accomplishments you had as a woman. So great. But it has hit home really hard. And we realized one of the reasons that it's been difficult to find work is they didn't know.
Right.
They didn't know they were dealing with a woman. Yeah. So now it just really redefines even how to have an interview or anything. It seems to be an interesting place.
Yeah, and this is a hard thing for anybody to realize, I think, when you're not going through it. And that's that I have two heads, you know, this is what I wrote about in my blog, of like, you know, I'm actually waking up to my feminist, and now I'm using the word academically, tendencies, because I've seen why we need feminism. It's totally necessary, because all the things that feminism is fighting for are true. Just watch the RNC reality show going on right now. It's insane. But that aside, also, whenever someone even slightly acknowledges my femininity, it's like rain on a flower in the desert, you know? It's like, oh my God. And so I have to take it in and go, well, wait a minute. They're being actually very pejorative of me right now. But it really doesn't matter, because they got the pronoun right, and I'm just so happy, you know? And so it's really silly that way. I mean, I know how to run a crew. I know how to run a crew as a woman. Now they know why my crews were always run differently. Now they know why they always got everything done and people were happy. Because I was running the crew, like all the great women that I had seen run crews, I took pages from their playbooks. I balanced that with the ways that I had been raised as a leader. But, you know, it makes it really difficult, Mary. It makes it really confusing, but it doesn't stop me from being good.
Well, and I would like to just toss out one topic, which I think we can pick up on another time, because we discuss this a lot, the difference between a man and a woman, and trying to ever fall back on on that. But it brings us back to the quote about raising the bar, because it's I would rather have us be a little bit more talking about who somebody is as a human being, which also implies the raising of the bar about how to be with your mate. It's not because you were a woman that you knew how to be generous with me. That comes from the heart, because there are plenty of women who are anything but generous, right? So you can't call that a feminine trait, and so therefore you can't cop out to saying, well, it's because you were a woman that you were good to me. You are generous and good to me, and so anybody can take a page from that playbook, male or female. It could be in a lesbian relationship. I mean, we hear from lots of couples about their relationships and what their challenges are, and that goes across all the lines. There's no couple that's not
I don't think you've ever said that succinctly before, but yes, I completely agree. We the bar setting is the part that we want to remove. The part that got me so upset by what Doug said was that he was not going to have to fight anymore.
Right.
That wasn't the. And
Phew,
that was the part
I can't do that. I'm not you, so
I don't need to.
I don't need to. Yeah.
So yes, you're right. I do want that to be the takeaway. The takeaway is that you should just and frankly, this is what a lot of the feedback that we got up in Seattle was. We had a lot of people that we hadn't seen in years who had only heard about what was going on with Marcy and Scottie down in Los Angeles, or seen my Facebook picture and went, what? Right? Now they were in our presence, and it was Catherine Thompson that said, part of the reason, because I was thanking her. I was thanking her for opening her arms and being able to open her mind and her heart to seeing who I was, and she said, I don't have to do that. You are the person that always was you. And I loved that person, so I love this person because you're always the same. And I think that's what makes me feel good, is that our love was always obvious.
Isn't that the crux of what we're really asking of the world?
Yeah.
Right now?
Yeah.
It happened last night too when we were at another gathering. I mean, I'm so excited to see how people have not skipped a beat. There are people who had heard about your transitioning. But the first thing they said to me was, where is she? I want to see her. And I said, oh, you know, and several people said, well, of course, and I can't wait to see her. I mean, we've always loved you guys. What I love is there was no break in the continuum at all. There was no, well, okay, I guess I can adjust, and even the people who came up to you and only knew who you were because you were with me. It was like the reaction, but the reaction was bright eyes and then a hug.
Yeah.
So that's what we want, is I think for people to see the humanity, to see this is the same person. If you liked this person before, what's changed? Why wouldn't you still?
Well, I think that's yes. That's also because of the people that we attract. We run in a circle of really loving people, and as Melissa says, over 200 our closest friends. But we do tend to gravitate towards people that are loving, are open-minded, are wonderful human beings. Even the people that are closest to us, that sometimes they're the ones who have the hardest time. But it wasn't. But the reason why they had a hard time was because they want to go deeper, and they're acknowledging the places where it's hard for them.
Mm-hmm.
They're doing the work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
That's kind of the difference in what we. Why I want to point it out to the world is that they're not making me do the work. They're not saying, which, trust me,
well,
I'm going to do that.
Well, and all too often
work.
that's what the reaction is. How could you do this to me? Right. How can you do this to us?
Right.
And so yeah. That's the other thing I would wish for anybody else going through this, that they have some kind of network of friends or family Or you got us.
Well, that's why we. Yeah, exactly.
You got
That's
us.
for sure. That's why we want to talk to the allies and the people who are on the fringe and kind of going, what do I do? I just heard about someone transitioning because, there's lots of support for.
Or
me.
aren't even at the ally stage yet.
Well, let me finish this. There's lots of support for me. I can find books. I can find support groups. I can find all kinds of stuff. There's not a lot of support for yous.
Me's
The yous of the world.
they get pulled into this world.
So yeah, it's
as a surprise.
Right. I mean, that's why your book is so important. By the way, it's getting closer.
Got another chapter in spite of all the travel.
Right. Good girl. Yeah, it's not easy to write while you're juggling flaming chainsaws.
No, you can remember where you left off. It's tricky. That's the part that's out there that we want people to understand is that it's just you don't have to understand, but you do have to be compassionate because compassion works. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well,
we're trying to keep our vlogs at a palatable length, so this is why I just went, okay.
I'm done talking.
Maybe that's enough for now. It's not that I'm done. That's the problem. We could both
Well, that's always the situation. I mean, it feels like when every conversation we've had with this, we cut it off. Like Margaret Larson wanted to keep talking with us all day long.
Well, that's what I was just going to say. Yeah, New Day Northwest. She said, I have so many questions. I want to spend a day with you. She was so great.
Yeah.
Thank you again, Margaret. I don't know if you would ever be seeing this, but if so, you're the best.
Yeah.
You have set the bar.
That's right.
Speaking of bars.
So,
So,
see you next week.
Yeah. Same time, same station?
Yep.
Okay. Lots of love to all of you, and
Yes,
thank you for
please.
your support and your interest and your bravery.
And take care of yourselves.
Yeah, and each other.
Okay.
Okay. Bye.